Bye guys. Alright, let's start with slip knot. You can either start with a magic circle or you can chain 4. This is just an easier magic circle, but it's the exact same thing. You're going to be able to pull your work closed, and I want you to double crochet into the very first chain you made 9 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. So take your tail and pull that closed, just like you would with a magic ring, and slip stitch right into that first chain. You're going to chain 2. Now you're going to put 2 double crochets in each stitch all the way around for a total of 18 stitches. Two in each hole. I don't think I put 2 in that hole. Eight. 10. 12. 14. 16. 18. And you're going to slip stitch right into that chain. And you're going to chain 2. You want to keep it 18 stitches. So I'm just going to 1 double crochet into each stitch around for a total of 18 stitches. 7. $15. $18. Slip stitch right into that spot. You'll see it starting to curl over. So we are at 1. Let me fold this, turn this inside out so you can see what's going on. So we've done our first initial, this row. So now we're on round 4. Excuse me. So now we're on round 4, and we're going to do the exact same thing for the next 3 rows to round 7. We're just going to chain 2 and then double crochet, chain 2, and then double crochet in each stitch around, making sure you keep it 18. Pretty short project. You can probably rip off quite a few of these in a day. I didn't turn off my radio when I started, but I'll have music playing in my background of my video, or I'll get a copyright claim. No big deal. So just keep counting, making sure you have those 18 stitches. Even a beginner can't really screw this up. So you're just gonna go right into that chain and slip stitch, chain 2. And do it again. If you need these to be bigger, you can use a bigger hook. Or you can put 2 pieces of yarn together. A few different ways to make it bigger. The yarn, putting 2 pieces of yarn together not only makes it thicker, so all depending on when baby's born, right, whether it's in the months that need thicker middies or not, but 2 ways to make it bigger is double up your yarn, or just use a bigger hook. If you need it smaller, which I doubt, but if you do, for I guess preemies or whatever, just use a smaller hook. One more. So if you're faster than me, which you probably are, because this is very tiny yarn I'm working with and very tiny needle, and I have very fat fingers, fasten off if you're going to switch colors. If you're not switching colors, then you don't need to fasten off, but you do need to wait for me because we're not going any further past this point. But if we are switching colors like me, then fasten off, get your new color ready. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. It was way too loose. I should have just stopped. Alright. Chain 1. Fasten off. Hide these first, so we'll tuck all of our stuff in. Forget, stretch out your work before you cut it. Pull this tight. Here's part of your little midi. I'm just going to get my white out now. So I'm going to start at the seam. There's a little bit of a seam. It's not much of a seam, but that's where I'm going to start. And I'm just going to wrap my yarn around and I'm going to pull it through. And then I'm going to do a double crochet into that same hole. Try to incorporate your tail. You're going to double crochet all the way around. Trying to incorporate that tail. Not the most graceful work, but snagged. I don't know about you, but it's hard to hold this tail and keep my tension. That's why I'm looking very awkward right now. Very awkward for me, so I'm just gonna leave the tail sticking out wherever at this point. I think I've weaved in enough. I'll just cut it. And I'll just continue my double crochet around. Alright, when you get back here, you're just going to slip stitch into that top chain. Just like that. You're going to chain 2. And now we're going to do front post, back post, double crochets. This is going to make the cuff of the midi. You're just going to go right into this very first post, grab some yarn, and then follow through with your double crochet. Now we're going to go into the back post, grab some yarn. If you've already learned this, then great. If not, then I'll try to go slow. So you can tell here, these are the front posts, obviously, and these are the back posts. They have a flat piece that shows. So if you get lost, you can see better here. So if you have to put your work down and then you have to come back to it, this is front post, and then you can see how this goes horizontal. This is vertical, this is horizontal, that's your back post. So I'm at front post. Until you get used to it, it is not easy to identify, but it also doesn't take long to get onto this stitch, and it can change your work drastically just by adding this stitch. So I really like it. You can do this a number of different ways. You can make a cuff that looks similar a number of different ways. However, if you're working in the round, this is my favorite way. If you're doing it flat, you can make the same look just by working in back loops only. If you're crocheting, if you're making anything flat, you can make the exact same look that way. But depending on the size of your work, working in the back loops only can be a real pain in the butt. And this is pretty small. Besides, we made this in the round anyway, so that's why I've gone with back post, front post, back post, double crochet. Alright, so we just did the back post. We got one more post left, which is going to be our front post. And then we've got that little piece in the middle, which will act as a back post. So you're just going to go into that top chain of that stitch. You're going to chain 2. And you're going to repeat the exact same thing for the last final row. So you're going to come in and do a back post, or sorry, front post. Back post. Now we're not working in these holes anymore. We're working in these holes up here. So above this line, not below the line, that's where you're sticking your hook. So I gotta do front post. You can do this as light or as loose as you want. Either way, your work's gonna look great. It's a great look to have on anything that you make, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I think it just really, really makes your work. I'm on back post. These days I'm just going to do tutorials on the different kinds of stitches. That way you can use it as a reference. It might be a little more slower or a little more detailed, or you know, closer view with the camera, or sorry. Alright, I got a front post. And we're gonna go right into that chain. If I can get out. Snagged on something, there we go. And I'm going to slip stitch. And then I'm going to fasten off. So I'm going to hide this just in the cuff part. That's your seam, but it's not very noticeable at all. This is your little midi. I'm going to put my tie, I think, right into these holes here. So you can either make them white or you can make them blue. I'm going to make it white, just because I have it already sitting here and it doesn't really matter. So you just want to do a slip knot. Not like me. Alright, just do a slip knot. Wow. And you're going to chain 50. Then you're going to fasten off. So we're just making a chain. That's going to be our tie. thread your needle. We're just going to weave this in. So this is your front because you've got your seam in the back. Plus I hid my yarn back there. So this is going to be your front. So wherever you want your tie to stick out, then that's where you start. So I'm probably going to want my tie to come out of this hole, so I'm going to start over here. And I'm just going to go behind that post. Let's try that again. Don't pull all the way through like I just did. So that's where you want your tie to start, so leave that out. So the next hole you go in and up again behind that post, and you're going to do that all the way across and around. Now we're back around to the front. There. I've got one hole left in the middle. You don't need to fill it. So you can pull your ties even at this point and snip off your wherever you want to snip it off. I like to leave a little few bubbles at the end. And that's it. Tie your midi up. Just like that. So this is the girls with the scalloped edges, and then this is the boys with the cuffs, and I think it looks a lot better. Plus it matches the little booties that I made, that I've already done a tutorial for. Not sure if it's on my channel yet, but anyway. So there you have it. There's the little midi that we're gonna make, and I really like it with the cuff. I think both the booties and the middies look really good with the cuff. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.